So there's one optional keyword, one of the last keywords that we haven't talked about yet, and that is the where clause. The where clause is a powerful tool that allows me to add conditions on the information that's coming back. So far, we've been pulling back all of our dogs, sorted in ascending or descending order by breed. I could have sorted them on name or any of the other fields in the table. What if I don't want to return all of the dogs? What if I just want to see certain dogs? Let's say, for instance, I only want to see dogs that are older than 5 years old. This time we're going to use that last reserved word called where. So once again, I'm going to select dog name. We'll select age because I want to see all of the dogs who are older than 5 years old. And then I'm going to include breed. And let's include color because I haven't chosen that one. I'm going to use from and then the name of the table that I'm pulling these fields from. And then I'm going to use the where clause. The where clause is going to be followed by some kind of a condition. And once again, if I'm only trying to pull back dogs who are older than 5 years old, I'm going to say where age is greater than 5. If I run this query, we should get back all those dogs who are older than 5. So it looks like I have 7 dogs. Now, it's always important to me to know whether or not these results are true. I mean, I could just imagine that they're true, but I would like to be able to verify that there are indeed 7 dogs who are older than 5. The way that I'm going to do this is go back to my original table. I'm going to look at the age field, and if I click the drop-down arrow by the age field, it's going to allow me to filter the view that I am seeing of this. So I'm going to sort it largest to smallest. And then we said that we wanted to see all dogs who were older than 5. If I click on the last dog who is older than 5, I notice down here at the bottom that it says record 7 of 19. My query returns 7 dogs, and it tells me that there are 7 dogs who are indeed older than 5 years old. But I asked the question, why didn't it return this dog who is exactly 5 years old? It didn't return that dog. Let me go back to my SQL view. Because I used a greater than symbol. 5 is not greater than 5, therefore my 5-year-old was not returned. If I wanted to include the 5 in this query, I would have to say age greater than or equal to 5, and I would have to put an equal sign there. And now when I run the query, I should have 8 dogs, and we should have picked up our 5-year-old Chihuahua. So I'm going to save this query. We'll save it as dogs 5 and over. Now, the first character of a query must be a letter. So I couldn't have just said 5 and over because 5 is a number and queries must begin with a letter. So I said dogs 5 and older. I'm going to save my query. All right, so this is bringing back dogs that are older, 5 and older. What if I wanted them 5 and younger? If I change that greater than symbol to less than, now I should be pulling back dogs who are 5 years or younger. And now I see that I'm bringing back the remaining 12 dogs. I still have that 5-year-old Chihuahua. What if I wanted to sort them? Then I could use my order by clause, and I could order it by, let's say that we order it by age, just to see if it's working. Now, where and order by are both optional phrases or both optional keywords, but if I do use them, they have to be in this order. So I wouldn't want to say select from order by where. The order by is going to be the last thing that I place. So the where clause would go in the middle. So let's run this query and let's see if we can bring back all dogs who are 5 or younger, and we're going to sort them in ascending order. That's the default sort order. And there they are in ascending order from 1 to 5. So if I save this, there's no way that I can save it under a different name. So now I have just saved it under my original dogs 5 and over when it's actually 5 and under. So how about if we change that back to greater than, just so that the name of the query is at least closely related to what the query is actually doing. So let's just do a little bit of error checking before we go any farther. What happens if I accidentally spell something wrong, such as dog name? What if I were to put DG name, and then I try to run the query when I've accidentally misspelled something? I'm going to get a pop-up message that says enter parameter value, and then it's going to tell me the name of the parameter, DG name. If this happens, that means that it doesn't know what DG name is. So the first thing that I'm going to do is look at my query, and I'm going to see if there's a difference between the parameter that it's looking for and what I expect the parameter to be. And I say, oh, it's supposed to be a DOG name. Once again, if I misspell breed and I try to run the query, if it gives me this pop-up, that's because it doesn't know what this parameter is, but it's nice enough to allow me to key in data if I want to. But I don't want to. This is a clear sign to me that I've accidentally spelled something wrong. So I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to go back into my query and see if I can find the one that is missing. What happens if I spell the table wrong and I run the query? Now it's going to tell me that it can't find the input table DO. It doesn't know what that table is. Make sure it exists and its name is spelled correctly. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go back to that table and I'm going to spell it right. Make sure. What if I spell a keyword wrong? So accidentally misspell order by. When I run the query, it's going to say syntax error. It doesn't know what this OR, and it even highlighted it in my query. If I click OK, and then I spell it correctly, O-R-D-E-R, order by, and I run the query, then it should run perfectly. And I know that when we first create a query, I delete the semicolon. That Access automatically puts this semicolon right after the select statement. What happens if I accidentally forget to delete that semicolon? And I run my query now. It's going to tell me that the select statement includes reserved words or an argument. The problem is that semicolon must be the very last thing in a query. The fact that it is finding data after that semicolon is what is causing this error. And so if I delete the semicolon and I run the query, life should be good. If there is data in the query after that semicolon, then it will throw an error. If I want to, I can add the semicolon myself manually at the end of the query and it will run just fine. But the point is that this semicolon either has to be the very last thing in there, or if I just delete it, Access will add it to it when I save the query. So let's create another query and see if we can pull back dogs based upon their weight. If I go back to my original table and I sort based upon weight, we're going to go largest to smallest. It looks like I have a lot of large dogs. So let's see if we can pull back all of the dogs who are over 90 pounds. So I'm going to create a new query to pull back dogs who are over 90 pounds. Let's select, let's say dog weight. Oh, not dog weight, just weight. And then we'll do color and age. We're going to select this from dogs, and we're going to say where weight is greater than 90 pounds. And we can order this. Let's order it by color. So now if I run this query, it looks like I pulled back 5 dogs. If I go back to my original dog table, I can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs who weigh over 90 pounds. And it sorted it based upon color. The one thing that I would mention is when I sort the return values, I do not have to sort it on a field that I am selecting. So in theory, I could have sorted this based upon dog name. Even though I'm not displaying dog name in the select statement, I could still order it by dog name. It would just be very difficult to tell whether or not it worked, but it is possible to sort it by a field that is not being displayed in the select statement.